What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the vlog. I am in SoCal for the rest of the week, which you know what that means. I'm going to be working on the FC, which I've already started. It's been since November of 2022 that I've really started the car, or driven it, or worked on it. So I'm finally back. It's been a long overdue. I'm going to be actually upgrading the radiator to the Koyorad N-Flo Dual Pass. So long overdue for it. I had the CX Racing radiator before and it was just really bad. Like, it kept overheating. There wasn't much just airflow going through because I didn't have a under tray at that time, but now I have one. Now I have a better radiator, so I'm hoping that my overheating issues disappear. I'm about to prep the car right now, but there are a few things that I actually wanted to show you guys before I do start that process. So for those of you who have an FC, if you go ahead and get the dual pass N-Flo, or N-Flo Pass, whatever it's called, by Koyorad, it's not going to come with mounting brackets. So what you're going to have to do is actually create your own. I just use 1.5 by 1.5 aluminum right angle L brackets. So what you have to do is pretty much essentially make your own brackets for each side. I have one on this side, and I have one on this side as well. So the bottom, you can make one too. It essentially would go to this mounting hole here on the car, and then you'd have to hook it up to that little bolt right there. It's a 10mm bolt. You can run another one of these just longer if you want to support the bottom. I didn't do that just because honestly the ones on the top are already good enough, and the radiator hoses are also another form of support. And don't do this, but I definitely ghetto rigged some zip tie to the bottom mounting bracket of the radiator to the chassis right there, so right below the steering rack. But honestly, it's okay for now. It's good for now. I'm gonna go ahead and test this on the track sometime this summer, just with how the setup is. But if you are also running the SPAL fan, there is no mounting brackets for that as well. So I went ahead and just zip tied it to the fins, or through the fins up top, and then same thing on the bottom. So it'll work, unless you guys can create a different type of bracket for the fan itself. But for now, honestly, this will do. I went ahead and filled coolant already on here and capped it off. Made sure all the clamps are tight, at least for now, before I start the car. So far, no leaks. There was one that I had to replace on the bottom here. If you guys can, try to run a T-bolt clamp instead of the worm clamps. Many of you guys already know why. It's just because the worm clamps tend to fail and the T-bolt clamps are just tighter in general. So I unfortunately didn't have access to those, so I'm just running brand new worm clamps for now. Seems to be holding, but if you guys had the option to change it, I would definitely do T-bolt clamps. Another thing I had to change here, hopefully you guys could see, but if you guys are running a catch can, which I am right now, you guys have to remember to cap the other side, the nipple on the back side of the center iron. I didn't do that when I was drifting, and I totally forgot that there was a nipple there, and kind of spewed oil back in November. So you can see there's residual oil. A lot of it's dried up by now, but go ahead and cap that. You're not gonna need that, honestly. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just use a HPS cap. It should hold, hopefully. The other changes I did here, many of you guys know from my last drift session, steering column I should say, actually dropped because of that 14mm bolt right there and the one on the other side here. So pretty much what happened was the bolt came loose, there was no washer, and it kind of just sheared through the mounting bracket of the steering column. So I went ahead and threw bigger washers, and it should hold now, and I made sure the bolts are actually tight. So this is good to go. Should not drop anymore while I'm drifting. And another upgrade, as you guys can see, I already did a quick release. I should have done this the first day I actually got this car, or the first day I started messing with the interior. Very, very important when you're drifting. You're gonna want this for sure. Another thing I actually did yesterday on the fuel cell with E85, try not to have it sit for a long time. So what I ended up doing, because it's been since November till now that I haven't started, I went ahead and drained the fuel right at that blue and cap right there. So I drained it all. It was about like 5-6 gallons. It was actually a lot of fuel. I didn't realize how much I actually left it in here. But I went and drained it and put fresh E85 in. Again, if you guys are using E85, highly recommended for rotary motors to run this guy, the Multo 800. Super highly recommended. It's just the additives that are in this premix. It allows the injectors to not get like, you know, sticky over time, especially if it's like sitting for a while. So in order, I actually technically I did have to fire this car up from my other shop that's over there. So from November to now, I just, you know, even though it was old gas, I just fired it up real quick just to move it here, and it only took like 3 tries to start it, and it finally cranked over. So again, thanks to Multo for the awesome 800 two-stroke oil. Another thing I actually do need to upgrade is brackets for the wing. So as you guys could see, a little bit of an accident. While I was drifting on my last session, the wing was starting to come out of the car. Simple mistake, I didn't have a mounting bracket behind this, so it was literally just a bolt going through the chassis, which you don't want to do. You want to put like a aluminum either 1/8 or 1/16 like bracket, and then you want to like curve it to the chassis, put it in behind of the wing stands, so that way it'll support properly. I didn't do that because I was stupid and I totally forgot about it, but you can see the damage. So I'm gonna probably rebend this back in or push it back in. I already bought like material right there, so I'm gonna go ahead and just bend it to shape, pretty much apply it to each side, drill holes for it, put the wing back on, put the mounting bracket back on, and it should be good to go. But yeah, a little unfortunate, but that is the reason why I am not running a wing right now. The wing is, I definitely saved the wing. It's at the shop right now, my other shop. But yeah, that is probably going to be the next thing I'll do once I burp the system for the coolant in this car. Alright guys, so I have the car running right now. It's pretty much all done, it's all burped. I don't even know if the thermostat opened, because usually if it does, the thermostat will open and all the coolant will just go down from the funnel right here. But so far it hasn't done that. It's not overheating, which is good. We're at about like 170, 172 degrees Fahrenheit, so that means the radiator is doing mad work. And I have like the 4 Taurus band, so really high on CFM. Car's doing great. I think we're gonna be good for the next track day. Woo! So as you guys can see, it's at 168 degrees. It's really not going much higher after like 171 or 2, like I said earlier. That means the fans and the Koyorad radiator is doing mad work, so really good. Still have some coolant there, but most importantly, there's no leaks. So nothing is leaking. It's a very good sign. That means the clamps that I bought doing good work. Alright guys, quick update on what's going on with the wing. So like I mentioned earlier, I have the mounting bracket, like the support bracket underneath this pretty much. So now it's supporting 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it shouldn't rip through anymore. I mean, it's pretty thick, and I covered like a good amount of surface area on this side and this side, and vice versa for that side. So we should be good to go. I'm gonna be putting the wing on tomorrow, and the problem that I actually ran into was there's like this much of gap between this guy here and where my finger is, which is this plate right here. So I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of bending this like crazy like that, which I'm pretty sure why it created like an indentation, I think what I'm gonna do is probably get like 1.25 inch spacer for this and this, as well as these two bolt holes. So that'll create less tension to pull the wing stands closer to each other. So that way, you know, it won't cause too much tension on the chassis itself, and it'll still retain the downforce that I need. And it's not going to be too long of a spacer. Like I said, it's only like an inch or 1.25 inches. So we should be fine, but I figured that'll be the next upgrade or improvement to create less tension on the wing stands and onto the car. So that's going to be tomorrow's next project. But as far as today goes, we are going to close it off. All right, day 2. I got the wing back on, as you can see. So this is what I meant with the spacers. So this is about like a 1-inch spacer that I put between the wing stand and the wing. It should be fine. It's all tightened down pretty good. Same thing with the other side here. So we should be good to go. I retightened these guys because now there's a slight like tension on it, but it's not as bad as without it. So we should be good to go. We shouldn't have to worry about it ripping off this time, especially with the mounting brackets in the back. I'm actually gonna go ahead and check these guys right here, these two here and these two here, and same thing on the other side, and make sure that they're tight. But besides that, she's looking good. It's a little dirty. I'm just gonna have to wipe her down later, but man, it looks so good with the wing. I'm so glad I was able to put it back on. Alright guys, well, she's pretty much good to go. The last thing I need to do is just change the transmission fluid to the MT90. I don't know what it had before. I'm pretty sure it had MT90 as well. But my third gear is being a little weird, so that's why I figured to just change it out. Fresh fluid. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. But man, the car is great. The temps are really good. 169. Wing is back on, looks amazing. Super happy with the car right now. Alright guys, well, I just put the brand new transmission fluid of MT90 in the car. It shifts a lot better. I drove it just around the block right now, and it definitely is smoother than it was before, so I'm pretty excited to test that on the track. Again, this is Redline MT90, so shout out to their transmission fluids. It's always been working really well in all my cars, so I definitely wanted to throw that in this car as well. I did put the bumper back on, so I figured just, you know, to complete the look of the car, I'm going to do a little photo shoot at the end of the day, and going to be actually adding part of this photo shoot to one of my new designs that I'm going to be releasing this year for my merch. So stay tuned for that. Pretty excited for that. But I am waiting on 2 more things that is coming for the car. One is it's like a TurboSmart boost controller replica. So it's a manual one. I really should be running the Mac valve on this because it's Adaptronic. But I figured, you know, for now, the TurboSmart like boost controller will do for now. And it's only like 20 bucks. And DK said it does work. You know, he's ran it on like his car before and like a couple other customer cars, and he said it's reputable, it's fine. It's just something you can get off of Amazon. But I'm waiting for that, and a new TPS that I believe the Ford uses. I'm not sure which Ford it is, but it's by JDL manufactured. What that allows is an upgrade from the T2 TPS, so you have a more precise and accurate sweep from 0 to 100% on watt. So that allows for a better throttle response. So I'm waiting for those 2 to come in. If that does come in, then this car goes back on a dyno, and with 13 pounds we're gonna push for, it's probably gonna be around like 400 or 410. So we'll see. It's gonna be a lot for this little thing. given how light it is, but I'm pretty excited. Otherwise, guys, that's pretty much it. If those two things don't come in by the time I'm still here, then I'm gonna end the video right here. Otherwise, I'm glad to be making more FC content finally. I missed her so much, and she's been neglected, but I'm back and she's definitely been worked on, and she's good to go now with fresh fuel. Otherwise, guys, that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys later, and I'll keep you guys updated as always. See ya.